Hey everybody, it's Sherri here today to talk to you about something that I have been wanting to bring up for a little bit now, but I haven't had the time and it didn't really fit into some of the conversations that I've had with a few others recently on the channel. But it's something that is very dear to me, and it's something that I have been getting for probably about 5 or 6 years now. And I think it's important, and I've spoken about it before, but I want to talk about what the true pandemic is. And we have been steered away from it with all of this distraction. And we really need to get back to our health and our ability to bring ourselves back to balance, and what's causing us to be out of balance. And what that is fight or flight. So fight or flight is a survival mechanism that our bodies have, that it's designed, it's a physiological response to stress and really from fear. Back when we were very primal, and we were at risk of dying for a variety of reasons, or being chased by a bear or a wild animal, our survival instinct kicks in. So our body shifts from the parasympathetic mode, which is our harmony, our homeostatic stasis energy that our body is in, which is balance, it's peace. So our body runs in the parasympathetic mode, is continuously harmonizing the body intelligently, really without us having any idea of what's going on. We're not really consciously thinking about breathing and our heart beating and circulating blood around, and oxygen, and all the organs and everything in the body are operating through this intelligent system that we're designed with. And so when we go into the sympathetic mode, our body shifts from that harmony to, okay, it's time to survive. Our instincts will kick in. And what happens there's so many physiological responses to that we don't realize that we have been placed in that for such a majority of our life, through generations and generations, through this convoluted matrix that I talk about a lot, where we have been, our power has been taken from us, and we are pushed down in vibration in this matrix of fear, sadness, stress, anxiety, from working, always trying to make enough money for your family. It's survive, survive, survive. These unbelievable lists of tasks that we create for ourselves, that we could never possibly accomplish. And then we kick ourselves when at the end of the day, when we don't get through what we thought we were going to get through, whether that's just life or school. Our children are very stressed out. All the homework and assignments that they're given, and testing. It's all the competition in the world of us competing with the person next to us for that promotion, or to have the bigger house than our friends and family, and all this competition for what? It's putting our bodies in a state of sympathetic mode a majority of the time. And our bodies are not designed to be in fight or flight or in the sympathetic mode a majority of our life. Only a small percentage when our body needs to activate so that we make quick decisions, and we are in survival mode when we really need to be. But this environment that we've been living in for generations and generations of time, because of the stress and worry about money and providing for our families, and dis-ease and chronic illness and all of these things that we fight against. Well, the problem with the medical industry is that they never get to the root cause of our dis-ease, our chronic illness, which at the root of everything is energy and our emotions, and how we are able to facilitate different challenges in our life. But when we have everything is stacked against us in this reality, and we're constantly fighting, we have the sympathetic hormones running through our body. We have adrenaline, and we have cortisol, we have catecholamines. And what happens when our body is in fight or flight? It's going to shunt the blood to the most important organs for survival. And that's going to be your brain, your heart, your lungs, and of course the peripheral and your muscles, so that you can run or fight or activate. What happens as a result of that, your body is then shunting away blood from the other organs, which some of which are very important, which is your digestive system, your uterus. So those women that go into labor in fight or flight, it's no wonder that their bodies fight against them, and they have such challenging births, because they are not in a state of peace. They are in a state of fight or flight. So their uterus actually shuts down. Blood does not flow to that area of the body, and the baby also doesn't get the appropriate amount of blood. And that's true for all the other organs in the body. That's why a lot of us have eczema or skin issues, because the skin, the largest organ we have, is not getting a sufficient supply of blood, which is the oxygen and the water that it needs. And so this is what's really causing the dis-ease in the body, which is really disharmony, or the energetic balance within the body, in the meridians and everything that keeps our body at balance, keeps the light body, the energy body, and the physical body, the flow between the two harmonized, and the energy is flowing adequately. And that causes our body to remain in homeostasis. And when our body is in fight or flight, it has to work that much harder. So many people complain right now of chronic stomach aches and digestive issues. And that is because your body is in fight or flight. It's shunting the blood away from your digestive tract. Your solar plexus and your sacral chakra, the lower chakras and the root, are going to shut down, or they're going to not flow as appropriate as it needs to. And then now you are not getting enough energy in that area. So there's a lot of factors, and fight or flight is truly the pandemic. And this pandemic has been going on for a very, very long time, because there isn't anything designed in this current system for us to flourish. It's all about competition and power and struggle. And the very few at the top can win this convoluted structure, and the rest of us struggle. And then we have so many people within our lives that are riddled with disease and chronic illness. And then they program us further by teaching us that if our mother and her mother and so on had breast cancer, for instance, then the rest of us are going to get it. And so we are programmed to believe that whatever our parents got, we're going to get too. And it just feeds the cycle of negativity. And we are never addressing the root cause. So fight or flight is a really important topic right now that we need to discuss, and how to bring ourselves out of it. And currently, with all the arguing and the negative narrative just continuously being fed, is not helping the fight or flight. If anything, it's activating us, and it's keeping us in a low vibration of fight or flight or fear. The emotions that keep us in that arena are the fear, sadness, worry, stress, anxiety, guilt, shame. All of the lower vibrational energies and emotions that many of us feel throughout our life. But if you condense that and repeat it so that somebody is continuously feeling one of those, keeps the vibration down. And then there is no harmony in the body. It becomes disbalanced. And then it manifests physical illness and chronic issues. Some acute, then they turn into chronic issues. And we are dependent on the medical system. So how can we break free of that right now? Well, number one, I believe that knowledge is important. People, a lot of people come to me for sessions, and they walk away generally not with this life-changing information or this groundbreaking revelations. But what happens is that sometimes we just need to understand the why, so we know what to do next. So if somebody recognizes or understands that they have had lifetimes of a certain trauma, and that trauma is repeating in this life, and they can put the puzzle pieces together and recognize, the light is fluctuating because the clouds keep shifting outside. It's making my eyes hurt. It's really bright. If they can kind of put the clues together and recognize these patterns that are repeating, sometimes that's all we need to snap out of it. Getting out of the loop, which I've talked about many times. Get yourself out of the loop. Get us out of the sympathetic mode, where we have more pain, which the catecholamines are in the body. We have more cortisol. We have the adrenaline, which is why a lot of people are just agitated and angry right now, because they have all this adrenaline. And they're not able to sleep at night because they have had adrenaline running through their body all day long, and then they lay down and wonder why they can't sleep at night, because your body isn't properly shutting down. Think about when you hard shut down your computer. It's not good for your computer. When we go into our bed at night and we have had a day full of emotional roller coaster of, worry, am I going to be able to pay this bill? Am I going to get this project done on time? Am I going to get good grades in school in this test? and then you get sadness. Maybe you got some bad news. And then you're hyped up and you're stressed about, okay, I got to get all these things done. You were going through a roller coaster of emotions all day long. Most of us don't stop because we just keep going and going and going and going. Then when we go to lay down and rest at the end of the night, one or two things happen. We crash, and then we wake up and we can't sleep because our body literally just gave out and said, oh, I'm just passing out, whether you're ready or not. Or you lay there and you're so tired and you're telling yourself, I'm so tired. But for the life of you, can't seem to fall asleep. Well, that's because your body is getting mixed signals. You've got all these fight or flight hormones running through your body, and you're trying to tell it to sleep, and it's like confused. It's like, what do you want me to do? So knowing is half the battle. Knowing and being more mindful about your thoughts, your awareness. What are you thinking about when you're going to bed? Are you trying to sleep, but you're thinking about the next day and all the things that you need to get done and all the bills that you need to pay and all this laundry list of things that are going to continue? That's going to inhibit your body's ability to shut down properly and relax. So my favorite things to do, once having a knowing of all of that, how do we get the parasympathetic mode activated, which is our dopamine, the good hormones, the good things that you want to feel. That's why when people go in for a nice run or they exercise or go for a swim or go for a hike, something like that, they feel really great afterwards. They feel like that nice breath, and they exhale and they feel amazing. We've got the endorphins, we've got the dopamine, and we've got these beautiful hormones running through, the good hormones that you want to feel. So how can we do that mindfully every single day? And my number one favorite, and I can't stress this enough, and I've been saying it for probably over a decade now, is breathing. Breathing is our body's natural mechanism to bring ourselves from sympathetic mode to parasympathetic mode. And it takes no time at all. All you have to do is you have to give yourself a few minutes. That's it, just a few minutes of your time. No distractions, turn the TV off, put the phone down. If you can, go outside. For whatever reason you can't. I've taught children to literally, if they're having anxiety and it builds up at school, go to the bathroom stall, stand with your 2 feet on the ground and stand there. You can do this in the morning, right when you get up and you've gone, you go to the bathroom, you stand up, start to brush your teeth, and you look at yourself in the mirror. You can do this driving a car. You just have to be more careful because you won't be able to close your eyes, and it's more of a breathing part, but you're taking away the closing your eyes and the relaxation portion. But the point is, you can use breath to bring yourself into a state of balance within minutes, less than that, really, a minute, whatever you can give yourself time for. So the best is to stand with 2 feet on the ground, hands to your side, ideally outside, but if not, like I said, anywhere will do, wherever you can do it. You've got to hide in your closet, and you're a mom and you have lots of kids, you can't get away from them, run to your closet really quick, shut the door, whatever you can do. And you say to yourself, any and all energy that's no longer serving my highest good. And if you're experiencing a certain emotion in the moment, fear, any fear that I am feeling at this moment, any anger that I'm feeling towards X person at this time, any and all emotional energy that's not serving my highest good, whether it's in my body or in my light body or in my environment, I choose to release it now. And you take a big, nice belly breath. You hold it. This is the important part that people don't do. You want to hold it. We breathe too fast. Part of the fight or flight response is we breathe too fast. Majority of the population breathes way too fast. For every 3 breaths, I breathe probably once that. When I sit next to my husband, he's rapid breathing. I breathe probably, once every 2 or 3 breaths he takes, I take one. Because I've trained myself not to breathe so fast, because what happens is, our body needs that oxygen. So if you're breathing really quickly, if you're hyperventilating constantly every single day without even realizing it, then your body is just getting just a little bit of oxygen that it needs. Goes through the body, comes back out, goes through the body, comes back out. And your body's truly not benefiting from that oxygenation that it needs to keep yourself at balance, to stay in the parasympathetic mode. So when you take a nice deep breath in from the belly and you hold it for just a couple seconds, not that long, then your body becomes saturated with that oxygen everywhere, all the organs, your skin, bladder, your kidneys, everywhere, your uterus, everywhere, your liver, gallbladder, everything becomes oxygenated, your muscles, everything, and it stays there. And then you have a nice long exhale through the nose is ideal, but you can do it through the mouth. And the reason for that is when you exhale through your nose, you tend to be able to control how fast you let it go. It's just a nice, slow, long exhale. If you breathe through your mouth, you tend to let it go too fast. And when you exhale, your intention, because your intention is extremely important. Your intention is that you're letting it go. So your intention when you breathe in is to bring all the fear or energy that's not serving you. Then you hold it, bring it to the surface, hold it, and then breath through the mouth, nose, whichever one feels the most comfortable with you, for you. And your intention is you're letting it go. And then you ask Mother Earth to transmute it into light for you. You don't even need to know what to do next. Just tell the universe, please absorb this energy and transmute it into light. That way you're not just breathing your junk out everywhere for someone to walk by and pick it up. We don't want to do that. If you do that for 5 or 6 breaths or a couple of minutes, what's happening is your body will slowly start to transition from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic mode. Your blood pressure will go down, your heart rate will go down. You will start to feel your shoulders kind of, and the tension in your body just kind of reduce, and you'll feel really calm. I mean, breathing is the body's natural way to relax. It will release endorphins in your body and you will feel good. Actually, if anyone has ever had a nice big cry, and at the end of the cry, you all know what I'm talking about, where you have that like that big, baby breath, that exhale, that sigh of relief. That's what your body's doing. It's like getting the last bit of it out, because crying isn't bad. Crying is just one of many ways that your body releases the energy when it becomes toxic in the body, and you get a toxic level of negative energy or emotional energy that needs to be removed. Our body has ways to get rid of it: sweat, breath, tears through crying, excretion through kidneys and the digestive system. And the ways we can facilitate that are exercise, grounding, so going outside, having a nice walk in nature. Fall is the best time. Think about what the earth is going through and follow her lead. The fall is a perfect time for people to reflect on what they've done good, what challenges they've had, what changes they'd like to make from the year. Leaves fall from the tree, and that's the earth's way of releasing its own toxic energy. Out with the old. This life has now wilted, and it will absorb back down into the earth again and nourish the soil, and then there's this cycle that takes place. So for us right now, we can take that lead by doing whatever we can to shed toxic energy, because if you don't, then that energy that's toxic in the body, then your body will start to manifest physical illness, and then you get sick, you get viruses, and your body will heat up, and you'll have a lot of sweating and many other symptoms that will cause your body, this is your body's way of releasing on its own. So, getting sick sometimes isn't always the worst thing. It's actually your body's way of saying, hey, take a break. I need to get all this out, rest, stay in bed. Don't do all of these things that you think you need to do. So, the antagonist in our environment, in our reality, is the fear, the worry, the shame, the sadness, the guilt, resentment, which causes depression and facilitates more, or the catalyst to the anxiety and stress. So, breathing's number one. I recommend everybody do that exercise minimum twice a day, every single day. If everybody did it every single day, 2-3 times a day, there would be a lot less illness. Now, if you are upset in the moment and you're just agitated and you want to let it go, you don't have to take that much time, and you can be driving in the car and you just 2, 3 times, let it go. When I work with children, I tell them to do 5 breaths. 5, just do 5. And if you don't feel better after 5, then you start over and you do count to 5 on your fingers. So breath 1, do it, same breath that I said, but once. So instead of doing it minutes, because they don't really understand how long that is, then they count on their hand. 1 minute, one breath, 2, and get to 5. And if you don't feel better, then you start again, another 5. And you have to, they need to do it 3 times. That's fine. There are other things you can do besides grounding. Tapping is a great one. Tapping the meridian points in the body. This really works. It does. But you have, sometimes children, they don't want to look funny in front of other kids. So I say, go, run to the bathroom, go into the stall and tap. You can do it real quick. No one has to see. What I like to do, instead of doing the facial tapping, sometimes if I'm out in public and I'm not going to sit there in Target and start tapping, sometimes I'll take a deep breath and I'll tap my chest, the thymus. I'll start tapping here. That helps clear a lot of energy from your heart chakra and your throat. If you kind of sometimes just touch. Sometimes you just need to put your hand on your heart and your throat. I like to put it right in between, right here. Eating well right now. Eating the best way you can, whether it's what you can afford to eat, and whatever the most organic way or the most pure diet that you can. So no fast food, or reduce it. I'm all about moderation. I'm a mom. My kids don't eat. They're not allowed to eat the big M at all. But there are certain times we'll go to some other types of fast food, but it's in moderation. It's once in a while. It's a treat for them. It's not a treat for me. I don't like it, but I don't like to deny them completely, because when you deny yourself, that's sometimes when you relapse and you're like, oh, I have to have it because you're telling me I can't have it, so I want it more. So just in moderation. But drinking water is really important. Good water. If you can't get structured water, bottled water is also an option. Just have to be careful which ones you buy. I'm not going to get in trouble by saying anything right now, but just be mindful of where you're getting it from and how cheap it is and certain things like that. Reducing alcohol, things like that. Gratitude. Learning to live in the moment. That is one of the biggest messages that I get from the sessions that I do. Learning to live in the moment through gratitude. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. I think that's the biggest hiccup that we're having right now as a collective, is everybody wants their family to know the truth. They need to know about all of these things. And it is important. But I also think that it's really important for our evolution to just accept that we're moving forward, what that's going to look like. Focus on positive. It's not hopium. And whoever started the word hopium works for the dark side. I don't know who that person is, but there's nothing wrong with hopium. Why would you ever take the hope away from somebody if that's helping them move forward? Keep the hope up, keep the faith. Keep your light shining. Don't give your power away. Don't let anybody take your power from you. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's your mother, your father, brother, sister, spouse. No one takes your power from you, ever. And if they have in the past, then you forgive yourself for, okay, I didn't know better. But now, moving forward, every day is a new day to be a better version of you. Every day is a new day for me to be a better version of me. So if I mess up and I'm not a good mom one day, I'm not going to go in bed and cry and beat myself up for weeks and weeks. I'm going to get back up and I'm going to do better the next day. That's it. And I try to fill my heart with gratitude. I'm so grateful for my children. So grateful they're healthy. I'm so grateful for anything positive in my life. And I live in the moment. I live for the now. What can I do right now? Because it can also be very overwhelming to think about the future. I could easily get overwhelmed when I think, oh my gosh, if I had all the money I needed tomorrow for the Aramis centers, that would be really overwhelming. What would I do? What would I start? And then I start to panic. Oh my God, there's a lot. I have to do so many things, and I have to bring myself back, and I breathe, breathe myself back to sanity. And then I just say, you know what can I do right now? Just one thing at a time. So, when my children get overwhelmed, I say, what can you control? And let's focus on those things. What can you do right now? Don't worry about what you want to do tomorrow or next year or what happened yesterday or the day before. What can we do right now to make things better? And that's what we focus on. So if we can all reel it in and truly take control of the steering wheel of each and every one of our own lives, get out of fight or flight. Because when you're out of fight or flight, your perception changes. So, I kick myself too. Sometimes I think about, oh, some of the things that I talked about 5, 10 years ago, or maybe even some of the things I wrote in my book. I realize now, I'm like, gosh, was I right about that? Or I feel a little bit different now. I'm not sure. And I could spend my time kicking myself. I could write 100 versions of my book and keep changing it. But in reality, what's happening is every time your vibration shifts, your consciousness shifts. So your perception will change. So was I wrong back then? I don't think so. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you get it wrong. But you can only work with the energy and the vibration that you're in that's going to facilitate how you perceive it. And so it might be truth to you. That's why there's so many versions of the truth. Because what's true for me, if somebody is in another vibration that's not the same as mine, or in relation to it, they might get really angry and agitated with what I'm saying and say, oh, Sherri's wrong. That's not right. Well, we're just in different resonances. We're not resonating at the same frequency. So what's truth for me may really trigger you. No one's really wrong or right. It's just the perception of your reality will change when your consciousness changes. So as we are all evolving, slowly but surely, some of us in different speeds, and then some of us have periods of lull where nothing happens, and you see people fly right by you, and you're like, oh, wow, I want to be there. And the next thing you know, you're there, and other people are looking for you. And you're like, oh, good, let me help you. It's not that we get it wrong. It's just that we can only work with consciousness and where we are in our awareness in that given moment. And then that could change. That's what evolution is all about. It's not 2 + 2 = 4. It could be a lot of different numbers. That's easy for me because I'm terrible at math. So I'm like, yes, I don't have to do math. But people out there that are very analytical, very left brain, it's really challenging for them. So let's take our power back and not let anybody control us. And if somebody's really disheartening you with what they're saying, even if you've loved them up until this point, even if they pulled you out of the gutter and brought you to the point you're at now, but suddenly they're saying things or doing things or acting in a way that doesn't resonate with you, doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that they've taken you only so far, and now it's time for you to flourish and shine on your own. Time to be that butterfly where you fly off and into freedom, and you focus on your now moment, whatever that looks like. Your divine blueprint is activating. And we graciously thank that person or those people for what they did for you. But their time has come to an end for you. Maybe not for the many that's still watching them, right? No right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. There is nobody better than the other person. And that's the biggest lesson I think that we're all trying to learn right now. Just because I have 3 children that I made in my body, I made life, gave birth to 3 human beings. Are they mine? No, I don't own them. They're not my property. They're human beings. They have a life to live, and it's my job to make sure that the first part of their life, however long that may be, they need me, and I nurture them, and I support them, and I guide them, and I try to be a good example for them, and I allow them to teach me. and we have a mutual respect, that's it. But I don't own them. They're not my property. They're human beings, just like me. So we don't take our power, their power away either. So I hope this was helpful today. Try to keep it light, but I want to be, I want to be clear too in what I feel is important. And if those watching like it, then they keep watching. If they don't, then they just unsubscribe and they keep it moving, and they'll find someone else that resonates with them. That's okay. There are a lot of people that I resonate with their material, but the way they present it agitates me in certain ways where I just can't listen to it. Like them as a person, think they're great, love the information, but I just am turned off. I don't tell anybody who those people are, and it's a personal choice, and don't know necessarily what the full picture looks like and why that is. But that doesn't mean that there are thousands of other people listening to that person and thinks, oh my God, they're the best person I've ever listened to. Good. And that's because there are so many different types of people that have so many different characteristics that make them unique. And people are either going to jive with it, or they're going to be repulsed by it, or they're going to be indifferent to it. Again, no right or wrong. No giving your power away. You just resonate with the people that feel like your tribe. And the ones that don't, that's okay. I think the biggest lesson for empaths out there is they're feeling like, everyone needs to like them. I don't know if it's because of my experiences growing up, or I didn't care, didn't care. I'm not in the business to debate anybody or to make anybody feel the way I feel, because my way is the only way. No, but I'm not going to argue with people. They either resonate or they don't. They either listen to me or they don't. But I don't put anybody down. I don't speak about politics because I don't take sides. Truly, I don't take sides. I just want what's right for everybody. Whatever is in the highest and best interest of the collective. That's where we should be. That's what we should be fighting for, not a person, not one idea, because there are many. So I think that if everyone here just co-creates a future that's in the highest good of humanity, even that would be enough, even that statement, because that will eliminate anything that's not in the highest good of humanity. And sometimes we don't even realize what that is. There are so many times where I begged and cried and prayed for something to happen and it didn't. And I was so upset about it. And I realized later, gosh, something so much better happened that I didn't even think of. Wasn't even on my radar. So think about that right now. Try not to think about the minute details. Let's not micromanage the ascension. Let's just say whatever is in the highest and best interest of humanity, that's what we are going to focus our energy on, and nothing else. Okay, that's enough for today. I hope all of you guys can join me on Thursday for the Aramis Creative Learning Center fundraiser. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of great prizes. Carly and Julia will be the host. I love those girls so much. I say girls, sounds like a child. Those women, those lovely women. Tony Rodriguez is going to pop in and say hello. We have some children that are going to come on and say a few things. Some of the mentors, some of those giving prizes away. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And 100% of everything that we make goes to the Aramis Collective, which will support the books, the animation, cartoons, the mentors, the staff, and of course the in-person learning center. So please spread the word about that coming up this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time on my channel. It'll be live. So join us if you can. If you miss it, you can watch it after. It'll still be fun. And then we'll announce the winners live Not sure exactly when. We might give it a few days so that more people can watch it and donate and have a chance to win some prizes. So stay tuned on that. I'm not really sure about that just yet. So, okay, well, I'm grateful for all of you guys and your support for ARMS Creative Learning Center. And you genuinely keep me going and motivated. So on the days that I want to give up and lay in bed and cry and pull the covers over my head, you know, I don't. I just keep going. And I want to thank all of you guys for your encouragement and your emails and your support and your donations. And if I haven't gotten back to you in your email, I'm sorry. There's so many. I can't get back to everybody. And that's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining. I just wish that there were more of me that could respond. So I'm not ignoring you if you never heard back or you called me or left a voicemail. It's just too many. But thank you for your support. All right, I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye now.